𝗍𝗗𝗂𝗂houseplants.com, where we teach you all about gardening in the great indoors. If you'd like to support my show and get help growing your houseplants, check out my Patreon below. Today we have a plant care video on this lovely pothos neon, botanical name Epipremnum neon. This is such a pretty plant. You'll see it does have this really neon green leaf to it compared to other pothos. I'm putting a picture right now of a regular pothos, and you'll see that it is a different sort of a green. There's also ones with some splotches in them too. But this one, this beautiful neon is generally speaking all one color, or various shades of this neon-y green. There's a little bit of a yellow in it as well, especially on the underside of some of the leaves, which makes it really look neon. This is very eye-catching, as you can see, and it has the standard heart-shaped leaves that the pothos do have, and the same vining growth habit. So today I'm going to talk to you about how to keep this beauty healthy and happy in your indoor garden. The first thing to consider is lighting. Neon pothos adapts to a wide range of lighting conditions. That being said, a bright indirect light is generally the best for this plant, especially to keep this pretty neon green look to it. So I would say striving for a medium bright light if you can, and at least a medium light. In lower light conditions, it may darken up a bit and just not look as vibrant. And also it can get a bit on the leggy side when there's not enough light. However, pothos in general, including neon pothos, are one of the types of plants that do grow in lower lighting conditions. So if you do have lower lighting conditions, you still can grow this. Just bringing up the medium bright and even just medium as a better alternative in order to keep that really pretty neon green. They do very well under full spectrum lighting. As a matter of fact, this one is growing under full spectrum lighting. It's in a room that gets some indirect light, but then it is underneath the full spectrum lighting. So you can see that it is very happy. Okay, so watering this beauty. Water neon pothos when the soil is nearly dry. So you want to be on the 4, going on the 3 on the moisture meter. So even, just nudging a little bit into the 3 on the moisture meter before you water, because these will succumb to root rot. For small pots, that'll be about when the top inch or so of soil has dried out. Like in this one, you can see that this is in a pretty small pot here, so only go down about an inch. But when you have bigger plants in bigger pots, you want to water when 2 inches, the first 2 inches or so, 1.5 to 2 inches of soil is dry. Okay, so fertilizing. Fertilizer isn't generally necessary to have healthy pothos plants, but it will cause the plants to grow more quickly and ensure that they do stay very healthy. Fertilize every 2 to 3 months with an organic fertilizer made for houseplants, and that would be spring through fall. Don't fertilize in the winter months. Humidity. Neon pothos doesn't require high humidity like some houseplants do. They will thrive in average to even low humidity and will do equally well as in high humidity as well. Just ensure that they have good air circulation when the humidity is high, because that will help ward off things like root rot and different sorts of fungal pathogens like that. Temperature. Pothos isn't too picky about the temperature. The plant will thrive indoors between 55 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit, so a pretty wide range. So that's an area that there are some plants that you really have to watch the temperature, but pothos isn't, as mentioned, picky about that. Repotting. Neon Pothos likes to be tight in its pot. So as you see, this is in a very small pot, this plant. And as you can see, it's very happy. It is ready to be repotted, but it still could go a while yet in this pot. You want to repot when the plant has surpassed my 2/3 plant up top to 1/3 pot below. And this one is even more. You can go to 1/4 pot to 3/4 plant up top, meaning that there's 3/4, if you look at it as a whole, 3/4 is plant and 1/4 is pot. And as mentioned, my general rule of thumb, and I do have a video on this which I will link, is 2/3 plant, 1/3 pot for the whole combination. And I've mentioned I will put a link to that video below, as well as any other videos I mention. Okay, so as mentioned, this plant does like to be on the root bound side. And I have a video on what root bound is too, and we'll link that. So you do not, most importantly, do not overpot this plant, meaning do not put this in too big of a pot, because that will quickly lead to root rot. It will also just lead to the plant not really thriving, barely growing. So if you have a Neon Pothos in a pot and it's just not really doing anything, or even a regular pothos in a pot, in a big pot, and it's not doing anything, now you know it is because it is in too big of a pot. So a lot of times the plant will just kind of sit there and do nothing. So if you down pot, I have a video on that too, linking. If you down pot into the right size pot, the plant will start to grow. When you do repot, make sure to only pot up into 1 pot size larger. Don't go to a real big pot because, as mentioned, that will lead to root rot and or just the plant just sitting there doing nothing for you. You may even find that the plant is, if the plant has been in the pot for quite a long time and you feel that it needs new soil, or maybe it's lost soil, you may even find that you end up that the pot it's in at the moment is still the perfect pot. So what you would want to do is resoil and then put it in the same pot again with new soil. Use a well-draining potting mix that is also moisture retentive, and I will put a link below for my favorite soil. Pruning these beauties. Neon Pothos can get leggy over time. This will occur with age, and it can be a sign that the plant needs more light. And by leggy, I'm talking about long, you'll see the string, there won't be leaves on all the way along the vine as you see on here. There'll be a lot of missing leaves, so you'll have a lot of empty vine without any leaves on it. That's what I mean by leggy. So that can happen over time. It can also happen if the plant isn't getting enough light. So obviously, if it's not getting enough light, you can improve lighting and that will improve. Generally speaking though, once it is leggy, what you need to do is prune the plant. And what you would want to do is prune the plant back to just underneath where a leaf meets the stem. And that will cause the plant to branch out at that point. And if the stem underneath is blank, like I just mentioned, then that will get rid of that look, that lanky, long look that isn't really that attractive without the leaves on it. Use sharp pruning shears. I have links below for some good ones for that when you do cut, so that you don't invite in any diseases. And you also, with those sharp pruning shears, the sharp, nice cuts will be more likely to initiate growth at that point as well, and a bushier growth. Pests and diseases. Pothos can be invaded by mealybugs, which like to nestle in the indentations in the stems on the leaf and on the leaf ridge. So they'll do it along, they'll like to go in this leaf ridge area, and then there are indentations along the stems, which is where you'll see them when you look up close at the stems. There's little indentations. They love to go inside those little indentations and set up shop there and start eating the plant. So make sure when you're checking to check your plant on a regular basis, and if you see any white things in there, that is mealybugs. They can be destroyed by spraying with 91% or 70% isopropyl alcohol and then rinsing the plant off about an hour or so later. If you do have mealybugs, even if it's just a small amount, in order to get this under control so it doesn't keep coming back and drive you crazy and the plant crazy, do the alcohol spraying treatment once a week for a month. And then thereafter, of course, check and do it monthly thereafter, even if you don't see any mealybugs, because they will have eggs that they've left behind, and this treatment will get rid of all of that as well and keep the plant nice and healthy. And of course, keep monitoring for any signs of mealybugs. So there you go with how to keep this lovely, lovely beauty, this Neon Pothos, happy and healthy in your indoor garden. Thank you for stopping by today. Please leave any comments about any indoor gardening tutorials you'd like to see. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. And please check the bell if you'd like to be notified when new videos are released.